My name is Liz and I am the founder of Save British Farming. Please do subscribe to this channel to keep up to date with news about food and farming and Brexit. And do comment below and let me know what you think of this video. So today I'm going to talk to you about Brexit and food. And there are many people who comment about farmers voting Brexit. And it's one of these narratives that's really taken hold. The truth of the matter is that the farming vote was probably split. And we don't really know for certain because we don't work out votes by profession. But I'm pretty sure if you went through all professions, the vote was probably split. What we do know, most certainly, is that 55% of men voted Brexit and 49% of women voted Brexit. Why did any farmer vote Brexit, they say, when we knew that Brexit was going to be so bad for food and farming? Well, the main reason that the farmers that voted Brexit did so was probably because they thought wrongly that the European Union was to blame for the supermarket power forcing down prices and making farming in Britain really difficult and not financially viable. If you ever tune into Jeremy Clarkson's farming programme, he explains how bad it is, and I guess that those are the reasons. They blamed the wrong person. They scapegoated the EU, which we know this government are very good at scapegoating, the Conservatives, and that's how it came about. But anyway, some people say, I have no sympathy with farmers. They voted for it. They can reap what they sow. But unfortunately, it's everyone who is impacted by farming going into crisis, because we all need food. And right now, all of the worst things are happening in the world to ensure that food is going into crisis in the world. And Britain has ensured with Brexit that we are in a particularly vulnerable position. And every day it becomes worse. It becomes more vulnerable. And I have spoken in other videos and explained some of the reasons what it's doing, but take it from me, Brexit is ensuring that less food is being produced in Britain every single day. And world events with the war in Ukraine and in Gaza and the energy crisis and climate events are exacerbating this. But the very worst thing that has happened since Brexit, the very worst thing, is the trade barriers, the non-tariff barriers that we have in exporting to our biggest market, to Europe. But then there were the same checks have not been applied for any imports coming via the EU, which means that since Brexit happened, which is nearly 2 years now since it actually happened, all of these products are coming in via the EU. A number of the shipments are illegal foods coming in here. And it's a huge biosecurity risk, but it also means that low standard food is coming in here, undercutting our British food. We're held to high standards here. We've lost our export market. We've also got awful trade deals which are ensuring that more food is coming in, again, grown to lower standards from further away. And all of these things are meaning that a lot of farmers in Britain are not producing as much food. The government have incentivised us to go into environmental schemes, and that's exactly what's happening. And that is bad for the consumer. This is bad for the country, because if we can't feed ourselves, we're in a very weak position. So the other things that are happening of late are that the Panama Canal is in crisis because of climate change. There's a drought, one of the worst droughts on record. And so the number of shipments are being reduced right down. And this, when you think about saying, oh, we don't need farmers and food anymore in Britain, we did this with British coal, if you remember, back in the 80s, and we relied on imported coal. So they're doing the same, or they decided to do the same with food. We don't need to have all these farmers anymore in British food. We'll just import it all because it's cheaper. You've heard Jacob Rees-Mogg say that. And So you want to rely on cheaper food to come in, and the Panama Canal is now unable to be as efficient as it was because it can't support as many shipments. And then we have destroyed our relationship with Europe, or damaged it severely, so we don't have that as a food store as we did, or a swift food store. And we've also destroyed our own ability to produce food. And then also, the other thing that's happening is large shipments are about to come in from Australia of lamb. And all this will do is crash our lamb market. And then when we're reliant on Australia for lamb and the Panama Canal can't support those shipments to come here, what do you think happens? We don't have enough food. So all of these things are very worrying, and it's also why we need to get back in the single market. Because for us British farmers to up production again, we can't just switch it off and then switch it on again. It takes a long time to ramp up food production. It takes years, depending on what you're producing. So we really, because of the failures of this government to invest in food and farming, particularly since Brexit, they have weakened us to such an extent that we really need to urgently think again about where we are with Brexit and get back in the single market and customs union as quickly as possible.